This morning, Sean Diddy Combs acquitted of the most serious charges he faced in federal criminal court: racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking.
Today's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs.
But the music mogul will remain behind bars until his sentencing, after the judge denied bail, saying that the defense did not prove Combs is not a danger to the public.
I want everyone to know the job is not done yet.
The jury of 8 men and 4 women deliberating for just over 13 hours, finding Combs guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, each carrying a maximum 10-year prison sentence. The verdict comes one day after jurors told the judge that they were unable to reach a verdict on the racketeering charge, citing unpersuadable opinions. Combs pumping his fists inside the courtroom after the verdict was read, later kneeling down and appearing to pray once the judge dismissed the jury, telling his family behind him, "I'm gonna be home soon, I love you." The defense claiming victory with the partial conviction.
Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. We've said it with each lawsuit that came out, and today that was proven true.
Prosecutors arguing that the rapper ran a criminal enterprise for 2 decades, using his wealth and power to force his victims to submit. Over the 7-week trial, dozens of witnesses took the stand, including escorts, former assistants, and alleged victims, who detailed drug-fueled parties known as freak-offs. Among them, Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who recounted years of alleged abuse and violence.
She really wanted to give a voice to others who suffer in silence.
Outside the courthouse, a mixed scene of supporters and protesters, as Sean Combs now waits to learn what lies ahead for his future.
So what lies next is that the next hearing to determine Combs' sentencing date is actually going to be scheduled for Tuesday. The proposed date on the table for his sentencing is October 3rd, but Combs' attorneys, they're asking for an expedited sentencing, guys.
Chloe, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, joining us now at the table with a closer look at the case and the verdict is NBC News legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Danny Savalos. Danny, good morning. We know you've spent a lot of time breaking this verdict down, but when you think about it, the prosecutors charged him with racketeering so that they could bring in a ton of evidence that they wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
Exactly right.
But now that he has been acquitted on those most serious charges, you wonder, was this an overreach? Did they go too far?
There's an argument to be made. I mean, you could say that the prosecution won because they did secure convictions, as federal prosecutors do in over 90% of the cases brought. But the only convictions were of the Mann Act, which was clearly the least serious of the charges, carrying the least punishment. If he'd been convicted of any of those sex trafficking counts, as you know, Laura, he was facing a mandatory minimum of 15 years. Now, even at the government's high end of their calculations, he's looking at 4 to 5 years. He's already got 10 months in credit for that. So a huge difference. And I would say, on the whole, a huge victory for the defense, even though this defendant was convicted.
For a moment, Dana, yesterday there was some anticipation that Sean Diddy Combs could walk out of the courtroom yesterday. The judge has decided that he's going to be denied bail. That means he stays behind bars for right now. The bottom line here was that the defense team had conceded his domestic violence problems through history. Was that what held him behind bars?
Yes and no. Here's the thing. The defense always had to concede domestic violence. They had to get credibility with the jury. And by the way, even if they hadn't, there was plenty of evidence of domestic violence. For example, a video of domestic violence, of Combs beating his girlfriend that the jury saw. So it really didn't matter that they conceded it. Here's the thing. The presumption under federal law was that Combs was going to continue to be detained until his sentencing. The defense had the burden to show by clear and convincing evidence that he was neither a flight risk nor a danger to the community. So he started out with an uphill climb. In all likelihood, he was going to be detained. It would have been a big deal for the defense, a big win for them to get him out pending sentencing. But when you think about it, if he's really only looking at a few years, he's going to do this time anyway. He's going to get credit for this time. So he might have just gone out to come back in October or late fall.
Yeah, we'll see whether that sentencing date gets moved up from October. It's still a ways off. Danny, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.